I'll bring this meeting of the Koochiching County Board of Commissioners to order by WebEx due to the coronavirus. And first item on the agenda is to approve the proposed agenda. And Jenny has one addition with Tom West. What was that again, Jen?
Mr. Chair, that's an addition to the committee of the whole agenda, and it's to discuss Cooch polls 2, 4, 5, moving those to mail ballots. And that's going to just be at the committee of the whole meeting for discussion only. No board action would take place today.
Okay.
I'll move on the agenda, Mr. Chair.
I've got a motion by Commissioner Pavlik. Do I have a second?
Second by Scully. Okay.
Second by Brian. Commissioner McBride. Any discussion?
Oh, actually, okay, give it to Brian, no problem.
Yeah, you both kind of weighed in on it. So, excuse me. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, by roll call, Pavlik?
Aye.
McBride?
Aye.
Schobel?
Aye.
Boy?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Okay, COVID-19 update. Kathy?
Good morning. As you are all aware, I'm sure that we are now up to 3 confirmed cases for our county. Nothing much has changed beyond that, although I do think that we are just beginning to see some more cases in our county, and that number is going to go up. There's a lot of rumors and things swirling around this morning, which I don't know whether they're true or not, and hopefully we'll get some clarification as the day goes on about other potential exposures.
Okay.
Do you have any questions?
3 confirmed cases, 1 recovered, right?
Correct.
Okay.
And there is not anybody hospitalized at this time for our county.
Okay. Who was that I had a question.
This is Jay here, Mr. Chair.
What's that?
I have a question for Kathy.
Okay, go ahead.
Hey, Kathy, with the restrictions possibly being lifted, what do you see happening as far as, following the guidelines for people, returning to work and things like that, and then with the cases, increasing, do you have an idea of what the action plan would look like as far as the public and some of the staff and things like that to protect themselves?
Well, I think that one of the most important things is if businesses are going to reopen, they need to have a plan for how they're going to conduct their business and how they're going to ensure that people feel safe using their services or entering their business. It's been shown in other states that even though businesses are opening, people are not coming because they don't necessarily feel safe. I think the social distancing, the face mask wearing, and the good hygiene practices, washing your hands, not touching your face, those things are absolutely essential to continue for an undetermined amount of time so that we can, protect each other. That's what it's really about, is protecting each other. I don't believe that just because we are getting positive confirmation now of cases that it hasn't been in our community for quite a while. The positive cases there's going to be more of them because they're doing more testing. They've opened up the testing with the One example is with the elective surgeries now that they're starting to do. A part of that process is testing the people during their pre-ops for COVID-19. That's going to probably show up some people that have it, that are asymptomatic, and that we wouldn't have known about had they not been going to have, an elective surgery. So I think that talking to some of my staff this morning, I just reinforced that it's really important to continue doing what we're doing. And as long as you've been doing that, you have good reason to believe that you're safe. Although you still could have had it and been asymptomatic and not know that you had it. Does that help?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah.
Mr. Chair. Yes. Just a comment, and Jen, I know when we sent that letter, Kevin signed it, sent it to the governor, requesting the camping issue, and we had said that I think we closed the county before the governor had even made a proclamation, but we need the governor's okay to open before we can even open the courthouse.
Commissioner McBride, it's my understanding that the operations of county government are deemed critical sector, so I don't believe are under the stay-at-home order to be closed to the public, but we have chosen to do that to keep our staff and public safe.
Okay, that's all I needed. And the other issue is, whatever decision the governor makes and people and businesses make, we're going to be 50% wrong any way you look at it. So it's going to be a tough deal for the rest of the summer for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So just be prepared, as a county board and as a county and employees and the city and everybody else, any decisions made, that you're 50% wrong. That's just the way it's going to be. All right. Thanks, guys. Perrin. Where'd Perrin go?
Yeah, I don't have anything new to add on what Kathy said. If anyone has any questions directly for me, feel free to ask.
Okay. Thanks, Perrin. Is Matt around? Lynn?
I am here.
Okay. Do you have anything for an update for us?
Well, starting this week, the transfer station will be open to the public Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, 9 a.m. to noon. And that's in response to conversations with commissioners and people trying to make it more convenient, yet still, implementing measures to try to protect the employees and the public, from some of the risks associated with COVID-19. So we've added an additional day. We're still, having that extra person out at the gate, controlling traffic, trying to limit, contact for both the public and the operators within the facility. But so managing the traffic and then also taking the charges at the gate. And so that has been effective. One of the questions the public has had is the difference between, an 8-hour day versus a 3-hour day, and why it's not open for 8 hours. And I would just say we're able to control that traffic a lot better over a shorter period of time, and that's part of the reason why we've implemented that shorter period of time. It's much more difficult if you're at an 8-hour day. So, and because the guys during that 3-hour period, they're just dealing with the public at that time, and during the times that they're not open to the public, they're dealing with recycling, they're dealing with demolition, they're dealing with tires, they're dealing with all these other things that they have to take care of. And when the public is coming, they have to be on that tipping floor, 100% of the time. So.
Mr. Chair? Yes, Brian. Matt, last week in management committee met with the employees and you, and I was very impressed with the employees. I had a lot of questions and didn't understand, and they explained things well. And for people who don't understand,
it's a tough deal to wear all that PPE 8 hours a day, and hospital and nurses are doing it. But it's tough out there in the situation the way they work. I'm crawling up and up on equipment, and so there's some good reasons why it's a 3-hour day for the public, and they explained it well, and I support it.
Thank you, Commissioner. Anything else for any of the supervisors? Okay. Approved minutes of May 5th, 2020.
I'll move on.
Stoy move.
Got a motion by Commissioner Schobel, second by Commissioner Stoy. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor by roll call. Pavlik.
Aye.
Bride.
Aye.
Schobel.
Aye.
Stoy.
Aye.
And aye. Motion approved. Financial business.
Mr. Chair, I will move on A and B, proposed claims and the highway claims.
Okay, I've got a motion by Commissioner Schobel. Do I have a second?
Aye.
And second by Commissioner Stoy. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, Pavlik.
Aye.
McBride.
Aye.
Schobel.
Aye.
Stoy.
Aye.
And aye. Human resource business. Janelle, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Just have a notice of hire for us, huh?
That's correct. Just for our summer highway laborers. We have 3 of them this year.
Okay. And two of them start, what was the date on that I saw?
The 19th, I believe. And then one starts on the 21st.
Okay. All right. Any questions now?
Nope.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Approved 2020 seasonal liquor license renewal.
Move, Mr. Chair.
Got a motion by McBride. Do I have a second?
Second.
And second by Pavlik. And that's for River Golf Course. All right. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Pavlik.
Aye.
McBride.
Aye.
Schobel.
Aye.
Boy.
Aye.
And aye. Let's see. Approved Armory parking lot lease amendment with Department of Public Safety.
So, Mr. Chair, that's a renewal. The Department of Public Safety that does the motorcycle testing in the parking lot of the Armory. This lease had expired, and it's just up for renewal. And it's for 3 years, commencing July 1st, 2020, continuing through June 30th, 2023. We do have an opt-out on this with 30 days notice. And it was reviewed by the county attorney.
Okay. Do I have a motion for that?
Move.
Motion by Pavlik.
Second, Mr. Chair.
Second by Commissioner Schobel. Any discussion? All right. All in favor, Pavlik.
Aye.
Bride.
Aye.
Schobel.
Aye.
Stoy.
Aye.
And aye. Approved donation and transfer of surplus equipment and materials policy.
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead, Jen.
this is just a policy that we have not had in place. By statute, we are required to have a policy in place before we transfer or donate any surplus equipment. Nathan Heibel actually helped me put this together a couple years ago. We started it when he had some surplus equipment that was donated. It got put in my to-do pile, and now we've got another request to donate surplus equipment later on the agenda. So I finished up that policy and had the county attorney review it. I think it meets all of the requirements. It's sort of just a housekeeping policy.
Okay.
I'll move, Mr. Chair.
Got a motion by Commissioner Pavlik.
Support?
Second by, was that Brian?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Second by Commissioner McBride.
I choked on that one.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, Pavlik?
Aye.
McBride?
Aye.
Goldblum?
Aye.
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 And aye. Public Health and Human Service Business. Memorandum of Understanding with Koochiching County and HEDA.
All three of these memorandums of understanding are because of the pandemic, and they are all for isolation and quarantine and possible space that we may need. So they're agreements. They were developed and reviewed by the county attorney and signed by Perrin and myself, and then or the motels. So
Okay. Can we do that in one motion then?
Yes, I think we can.
I'll move on all three, Mr. Chair.
Okay, I've got a motion by Commissioner Pavlik.
So we'll second that, Mr. Chair.
Second by Commissioner Goldblum. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, Pavlik?
Aye.
McBride?
Aye.
Goldblum? Jason, you there?
Aye.
Aye.
Roy, aye.
And aye. Information system business. Becky.
Good morning. So I'm the surplus equipment requester that prompted Jenny to work on that policy.
Okay.
I'm asking to donate our excess PCs and a couple other tablet devices to go to PCs for People. Typically, I keep them laying around. I pull the hard drive, and we throw the rest of the PC in the garbage. And I would like to be able to donate these to PCs for People. They will take them. They will refurbish them. They will wipe the drive to DoD standards so that they are clean, reinstall an operating system, and redistribute out to low-income families. We have donated in the past a couple of times to PCs for People indirectly going to Chaska, and we have donated once to St. Thomas School. But the effort to rebuild the systems ourselves internally just doesn't make sense. Devices are all out of warranty. They've been replaced by new equipment for end users. So the county has no use for them, so it's either donate them or throw them away.
I'll move, Mr. Chair, if I can get a new copier. Second.
We've got a motion by Commissioner Pavlik.
Roy, second.
Second by Commissioner Stoy. Does anyone locally at all get a refurbished one, Jackie, that you know of? Or?
Yes, we're having a hard time getting rid of them. So Koochiching is the local distributor on behalf of PCs for People.
Okay.
And then one of the KTI actions was to get another batch of them brought up, and they still have a few there. They're having a hard time finding people who want them here locally. Everyone wants a laptop. But all of our laptops got rebuilt and sent home with people. So they're not on the list.
Yeah, okay. All right, and I have a motion and a second on that, right?
Yes.
Okay.
That's correct. Pavlik was
support for pursuing build grant funds for 2020. The build grant would assist in funding the CASA 24 overpass, as well as an extension from CASA 24 to Highway 11 East. We are proposing the request for the overpass would be $5 million on a $6.25 million project, with CASA funds covering the rest, as well as approximately $300,000 from CN Rail. And we are also proposing requesting $7.5 million on a $10.5 million extension, with the remainder coming from our CASA construction funds. The application is due next Monday, so we are requesting a resolution of support today.
On everybody's favorite road, especially mine, right?
Well, I'll move on that support, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Sholem. Do I have a second?
Second by Skoye.
And second by Commissioner Skoye. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Pavlik?
Aye.
McBride?
Aye.
Sholem?
Aye.
Skoye?
Aye.
And I will be an aye. Motion is carried. Anybody here for public comment? Hearing none, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Who was that?
Me.
Over that. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Pavlik. All in favor, Pavlik?
Aye.
McBride?
Aye.
Sholem?
Aye.
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 And aye. Meeting adjourned. Now, Committee of the Whole. Discuss developers agreement extension request from Granite Digital Realty. LLC. Yeah?
Sure. Mr. Chair, I received an email on April 27th from Joe Marchand on behalf of Granite Digital Realty asking for an extension on the developers agreement. They had received the notice of default that they did not perform on the developers agreement, and he is now asking for an extension. The extension date, he would close on the sale of the purchase of the property no later than October 1st, 2020. And then by April, and I believe it's 2021, he would invest $76.5 million on a data center campus. And that is the request that we are to discuss.
Jen, I have a question, and I don't remember the whole deal on the developers agreement, but the date of purchase 10/1 of 20, right? And that is for whatever our appraised value is. And if there is no construction, does it revert back to the county? I don't understand what happens to the property. Does he continue to own it and then can sell it? I'm not sure.
Mr. McBride, just for clarification purpose, it is not based on the appraised value. It is based on the amount they had offered a purchase price of $300,000 for that property.
Right, I remember that number.
Right. So if that property does not close if he could close on it, I guess by October, and then he would own that property. So I don't know what would happen if the development did not go through, if that property would revert back to the county or not. The developers agreement, I think that there are some gaps in it, and we had talked about that a little bit in some other meetings. So it's really up to the board to discuss.
It just seems like the way it's written in his proposal that if there is no construction, there's some kind of a, you know, I don't know, something happens, and I don't know if Jeff is there. I don't know if Jeff, are you on that?
I am in here. Can you hear me, Commissioner McBride? Okay. And I apologize. I have to get out of this meeting pretty quickly here and go to court. Jenny, if I'm right, the April 2021 deadline would be to commence construction. I don't have the agreement in front of me, but that's what I recall. We had an October of 2020 proposed deadline for closing, and then April would be to commence construction on that. And I think if we allowed them this extension and then they did close by October 1 of this year, they would be in compliance with that portion of the agreement. But then if we get around to April of 2021 and they haven't commenced construction, and then there are a couple of other benchmarks written into the agreement as far as the number of jobs that a certain number of jobs with a certain average salary that would be provided to the community. We have the ability, if they don't meet any of those benchmarks, to basically be back in the position we're in now, where we notify them of what we view as a default on the agreement, and then we'd have to determine what steps we want to take, basically on a alleged defaulted agreement at that point. It wouldn't automatically revert back to the county, but I believe we would have the right to try and go back and get it, but I'm sure it would be a fight.
Okay. So as far as any recourse for a default on the second part two of it, there's nothing. It'd probably be negotiable.
It would be a heck of a negotiation. We could allege default and show that they aren't meeting the benchmarks that they promised, but I believe it would involve going to court.
Well, Jeff, this is Wade. Couldn't we put together a reverter clause that made it clear it comes back to the county and avoid court should that happen? You know, if we made it clear that he didn't perform, it comes back to the county, he signs that agreement, he'd be bound to it as we would.
Right.
That's the question.
He did not perform. That's what we have alleged. I had the direction of the county board to provide him with a notice of default. I did that. And I think that's what prompted the email to Jenny asking for an extension. And so we have the ability now. We're basically negotiating fresh. Like we had an agreement that they didn't meet, and that is a very good point, Commissioners. Rather than just say, well, we'll see what happens when default. That might be one of the things to put a little more pressure on whatever outside entity we sell this to, if we decide to. If they don't perform, it's not a court battle, and we don't just sit in limbo forever waiting for something to happen. I know when we discussed this in management committee, we talked about the possibility of earnest money, which I think is a good suggestion to put a little more skin in the game for any developer, and having the ability to have that property revert back to us. I think that's an excellent suggestion.
Great. Thank you.
I apologize. I have a 10 o'clock court hearing, so I need to log out of this meeting. But, all right. Thanks, Jeff.
Yeah, thank you, Jeff.
Right. Anybody have any more questions for Jen? Or?
Well, Jen, I guess it would be up to you and the attorney then maybe to get something together for us to look at, and as long as it's tight and we get things back without going through court, I mean, I'm willing to support it, but certainly want a tight agreement.
All right.
Commissioner Pavlik, so basically what you're saying is that we'll go ahead and the current developers agreement will be, it's in default, and if we were going to entertain something, we'd want a new proposal, a new agreement that we could review and make sure that it fits those conditions.
Includes that reverter portion.
Okay.
That'd be a good idea. All right. And that's it for that. And we have the one addition with Tom discussing the mail-in ballot.
Right.
Mail-in ballot.
Tom there?
He's on. Tom? There he is.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now, so we can see it too.
Yeah, you can hear me?
Yep.
Okay, good deal. We were talking about you. Good though. I just wanted to touch base with the whole situation in today's world. We have kind of a short-lived opportunity to, change some of our precincts to mail ballots, if we would like. Now, state law dictates that if you have more than 400 voters in a precinct, that it cannot go to mail ballot. Well, we have Cooch poll 1, 2, 4, and 5, and 2, 4, and 5 are less than 400 voters. And what that means is that we would send out mail ballots to the folks in Cooch poll 2, 4, and 5. And we would have to notify them that that's what they were going to get. And it's kind of what I'm proposing, but I'm not looking for a vote or anything like that. I just wanted you guys to know a little bit. And Cooch poll 2 has 332 voters. Cooch poll 4 has 329, and Cooch poll 5 has 308. Now, that would only leave the county itself with one poll, and that would be Rainier, because it has 687 voters, and that's over the threshold of 400. So the reason that we're proposing this is, kind of for safety reasons, and then we've had some judges that have said they're not comfortable being election judges anymore, and I don't blame them. Time is a bit of the essence. We'd have to make a decision by June 1st, according to the law. I don't know, I guess just open it up for questions. Currently, we would still have the city ward, because they're all well over 400, and Rainier would be the other ward. So the county would be in charge of just Cooch poll 1. And obviously we'd help the city out, as we always do. So, and as they help us. Anyway, just some few statistics I found interesting. Currently, the county itself votes at about 75% mail ballot. So Little Fork, North Home, other folks just get their ballots in the mail. And I guess I'm proposing that happens for those other districts as well. So maybe a good spot to start would be to just visit about it a bit if you have questions.
Say, Tom.
Yeah.
With all the hoopla going on around the country on mail-in ballots, does that mean we'll get on Fox News?
I don't know, Brian. Like I say, we have one of the good things about mail ballots, from my perspective, is that we have better turnout with mail ballots than we do with not mail ballots. Now, people talk about fraud. I don't know how somebody commits fraud with a mail ballot, sort of stealing it from your mailbox or making your spouse vote the way you want her to vote or him to vote. I don't think so. Like I say, 75% of our maybe on that.
Tom, I was just being a little facetious on that, but it works for us, and it's worked for years and years, and I believe it would ultimately be a money saver and a people saver for us to go ahead and do that.
Right. We contract for our mail balloting through an organization. We would save a little bit of money on our election judges, but we would have to pay more money to get all that stuff mailed out. So what we're talking about is about 1,000 people that would get mail ballots as opposed to the other one. Well, 1,000 times 50 cents is $500. You know, not to mention the administrative fees that our current vendor charges. But I don't know. I don't know what you guys think, but I just, like I said, wanted to bring it up and noodle it a bit. And I think the primary reasons would be the safety of the voters and the election judges, and I think the turnout's better. So, well, in fact, I don't think so. I know so. So Shelley provided me a nice list of all our voters. We have 7,000, roughly rounding here, roughly 7,000 registered voters in our county. And short of International Falls, about 75% of our county voters vote mail already.
Is there any chance, Tom, that our president could cut down mail voters or mail voting?
Well, this is state law, so I don't know. If Jeff was still on the horn, I'd ask him, but my guess is no. He hasn't done it yet for the big falls and the little forks of the world. So I don't think so. And just to give you a little idea about what happens with mail ballots, we send out the ballots. They're secret envelopes. Nobody knows how you voted for. Whoever your witness has to note that you filled it out and put it in an envelope, and then they sign it. Now, if they don't sign it, that's kind of a pain in the neck for us because we have to send it back.
Yeah.
If it's within a week. So and that doesn't happen very often. But if we get it within a week, then we don't, we just notice and don't send it back. So we have a database called the State Voter Registration System, SVRS, which, again, Shelley runs very well. And we have addresses, we have all that stuff. So what occurs is we talk about precincts or we inform our vendor what precincts are going to be mail ballots, and then they mail them out. And then we just wait for the mail to come in, and we have our election judges work in the boardroom, and we count them all on election day. I mean, it's like a beehive back in there. It's kind of fun, but yeah. And then we don't have all the different. Anyway, other questions, Wade?
I got one question for you. Could you just remind everyone the 2, 4, and 5 areas?
I can. International Falls and South and West. So we would not have anybody at Union Hall, and we would not have anybody at Aquinas, St. Thomas, or we wouldn't have anybody at Rainy River. And we would have somebody in Rainier, not for any other reason than there's too many voters there to kind of skirt state law. So like I say, just for rough reasons, we're looking at from 300 to 340 voters per precinct there.
So, Tom, International Falls, of course, still have their 3 precincts.
Yeah, for your information, Center Ward has 963, West Ward has 880, Center Ward 880, and then West Ward has 1287. I might have read those wrong, but roughly all about 1,000, right?
So those are the only polling places? Little Fork and North Home would be mail-in?
They are already, yep. Okay. It's been mail-in, I think, since 16, Shelley? 18.
Yes, Big Falls
just went for the last election, but Northholm and the Southwest and the West have been for longer times than that, probably almost 12 years now.
Wayne, Big Falls and Little Fork went 2 years ago.
Although, Tom, there is something about this, even though pretty much all of my district is mail-in ballot, but that is pretty much out of necessity. That I know in Northholm here, because they had like 3 different polling places voting, they had, and it was traditionally elderly women that were in there. Probably had 4 different women, and when you came in, you had to give 1 ballot to this person, 1 ballot, and there was a lot of problems of getting election judges. But on a whole, when it can be done by coming in and voting in person, I'm in favor of that more than I am mail-in.
Yeah, I don't blame you, Wayne, and we're seeing the same thing with our tax collection now. People are just, people like coming in and doing their thing with paying their taxes and being low and that sort of thing. I'm with you. I don't know what the ramifications would be for the future. My guess would be if we go mail-in, that's probably the way it'll stay. But, I mean, so that's just something for you to consider. But it can be revoked. And we do get a better turnout with mail, significantly. We're over 50% with mail. And again, I'm not tremendously experienced with this, but I do know that.
Tom, do you also use mail-in for primaries?
Oh, yeah. Everything would be the same. Mail-in. And then we're kind of wrapping up for a big-time absentee ballot year this year. So Minnesota is a state where you do not need an excuse to vote absentee. You don't have to say, well, I'm going to be out of the country or out of state or something. All you have to do is request one, and then you get one. So I'm guessing that we're going to have a kind of a flood of those ballots. I don't know for sure. But again, I just wanted to bring this up, and frankly, I don't want to take any credit for it. I had a visit with Bob Peterson. He lives near me out where I live, and he said, you might want to consider that because it's something that's going to come and bite us. And I had a call just the other day of a couple of election judges, same family, but said they don't feel comfortable being election judges anymore. So I'm worried about getting enough people to do that, and if we cut that down a bit, and I don't know.
Well, that's
I guess I'm not sure.
So with new judges, then you got to go through the training and
well, yeah, everybody's got to go through the training anyway, Brian. So we'll have to go through, and we'll hold our trainings as well. But new judges, and my dad. He'll be 84 this year. He was a judge, as are my other colleagues here, judges, and I don't want my dad being a judge this year. I'm just going.
Tom, and we can't act on or do anything today, but could this be looked at as a one-time venture and then to take up down the road more?
Yes, Wayne, we could do it for this year and then revoke it. Now, and if you would like, we can certainly bring that up and say, hey, okay, who knows what happens in 2021 if we have any special elections or something like that. But it is certainly something you can do now. I'll just be honest with you. I don't know if that would happen or not. My guess would be is if we do this, then those are going mail ballots. But I don't know. I mean, that's going to be up to the board or the future board or something. I'm kind of in favor of it for this year. I don't know about the future. Yeah. My own view is it's not about us, it's about the people. What do they want? And I've been through this one. I got to tell you, we got a lot of resistance when we did the comment one, yeah. They're a little quick, all of them. And, so to that point, I guess I just don't feel it's a decision we should make without the input from the public. And, I'll points you make are very valid, Tom. You think we could make them to the precincts that we're looking at, but at the end of the day, they, in my opinion, should have the say. That's our core of democracy. That's
right. It is. Wade, what do they say about it now? Do those folks like the mail ballot stuff or no? Don't like it?
Well, Sigmar is a good example. They were absolutely against going mail-in, but because we didn't have a hall. What happened there? We didn't have a facility that met the specs required by the state for a safe environment for people to vote. And there's no way we were going to, they didn't want to pay for one of those either. So in the end, reluctantly they went along with it, but at least they were making the decision or had a part in it when we explained everything. And then from then on, did they like it? No. For them, it was it's a social event,
It's like paying your taxes in person, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's a little bit hard for, especially in my opinion, people our age have a harder time with it, and young people are more into, let's do it. But anyway, that's my thought. I just think you brought it up now.
You guys could noodle a little bit and visit and kind of go from there. Like I say, time is a bit of the essence. If we wanted to do something like this, it would have to be by June 1st. So we have 2 meetings before that, I think. But 19 and 26, is that right, Kenny?
Yes, that's correct. We're meeting May 19th and May 26th.
Okay. Well, that's kind of a steal there, and that's what I'd recommend. But it's something that obviously I will support whatever you guys are to do.
Well, for me, if we could do it, and honestly tell people we're doing it this year because of the pandemic, and then look at it as a policy later, so people would have more time or the ability to give us their input. It'd be hard to do that.
I don't know if you can. I don't know if you can put on a temporary thing. Say we're doing this for a year and then revisit it or not. But
maybe that's not possible. Then okay.
But like I say, it's something that kind of occurred to me that when we do the training for the election judges, I look out there and how do I put this mildly the people in the audience are all old. Older than me, which is pretty old. But
Tom, I agree. I agree with you, Tom. That
don't tell anybody I said that.
It's going to be a tough year for the phone judges, as you said. Most of them are our age, and with the pandemic, they're going to be people will vote, but it's tough on judges sitting there and you meet 200-300 other people and exchanging, ballots and all this stuff. So I agree with it. It might be a tough year to do it face to face. I know the city of International Falls is still going to have to do it and Rainier, but if we can protect people, I think it's the priority.
I have been around for a presidential election, but it's going to be crazy from my understanding. There's going to be a pile of people that are doing this. But,
Tom.
Yeah, Wayne.
Yeah, there's a couple other things on this, and I understand because I know down here at the one polling place in town where they brought in about 6 different townships to vote, and the youngest person there was 5 years older than I am, and I'm over 65. So I understand that, but that is a little bit of the feelings of younger people. But on the flip side, one of the biggest complaints I heard from voters was new voters, and they all said, we were disappointed. We want to go to a polling place.
Right. I hear you. I hear you, Wayne. I don't blame them. You wouldn't believe the number of phone calls we get. People asking us how to pay their property taxes. They just want to come in and pay and get a stamp and,
see, at least, they were going on the fact that they finally got old enough to vote, and And now when they do, it's just send it in on a ballot. They,
Right.
There's ways to look at it, but well, we have to worry about that. But for 1 year, but I think we should look at doing it, or look at if we are going to do it permanently.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's up to you guys ultimately, but I mean, if we did it for a year, then we just have to commit to the fact that we're going to revisit it after a year and see what.
Okay.
Not we, but you guys would have to revisit it for a year.
But we have 2 more meetings before the deadline.
I mean, I guess, I'm sorry, this is my fault, but time is of the essence a bit because it's June 1st, so it's just a couple, 3 weeks, yeah. But,
Okay.
And the other thing is, people can, request absentee ballots. Minnesota's one of those states that you don't have to give them an excuse to get an absentee ballot. In fact, a lot of people will come in and get absentee ballots just because they don't want to mess with going into the polling place.
Anyone mad at us, what we're going to do? We're going to say Tom made us.
Yeah. I know. I give him my 2 weeks notice right now, by the way.
Well, then they got all those guys with those Boise hunting shacks that don't want to come in to vote, and they complain about it.
You know what, Wayne? I was looking and I am just thrilled because November 3rd is prior to hunting season next year.
Oh, it is, yes.
I looked already. Yeah, we're good shape there. They're going to have to come in anyway if they want to.
Wade, you mentioned Sigmar's. That was kind of a 88 reason there, wasn't it?
Yeah, the facilities didn't even have the running water allowed in that. That was the state issued that. You had to have the right facilities to hold a polling election with the public. So.
Yeah, so I was thinking that it was the 88 reasoning kind of behind that. So
I agree with you guys. There'll be some people that wouldn't be happy about getting something in the mail and voting in. So I don't know what.
Tom.
Yeah.
Tom, also down here, because about half the community, is in Itasca County, and they went through the same thing because I think when they looked at it, of all the town halls scattered across the county had to be voting in, most of them did not have male or female bathroom facilities. Some of them still had outhouses. They had steps going into them, and that was probably the biggest issue that they had on going to mail-in ballots is because their facilities were not to standards.
Right. Well, right now, 75% of the county does mail ballots. I mean, our county, 75% of the county does mail ballots, and 50, I can't remember now, 55 or 45, one or the other does, from our county, including International Falls, does mail ballots. So let's just say half and half. Half are mail and half are. Yeah. So, I'm just looking at those numbers. They're about as current as 2 days ago.
Hey Tom, what's
mostly mail now in the county? But, yeah, Jason?
What's the city planning to do? Are they having issues with judges too?
I don't know that. I meant to call Betty prior to our meeting, but I did not. So I don't know. My guess is they will. I mean, their judges. We do all the training for all the judges. Except Little Fork does their own training, but we do the training, and Jason, the judges kind of look the same. So I don't know, but I can find out and then fill you in. Last time, Betty, in the presidential primary, Betty Bergstrom did not have an issue with judges at all. She's got a good stable of judges, and they're there and they show up and they do their thing. I don't know if it's going to be different this year or not. So we had a little bit big issue. We got them all in there and done, but it was kind of a different election of that smaller, if you will. But yeah, and the turnout wasn't as good in that primary as I would imagine it will be. But
Thank you, Tom.
yeah, oh yeah, no, thank you guys. Like I say, I just wanted to bring it up. And maybe next week we can visit about it some more. And I'll talk to Betty, Jason, and see if he's worried about it or has some issues with it. Right now, under current state law, she can't make any of her precincts mail. They're too big.
Right, yeah.
Thanks, Tom.
Anyway.
All right, anybody else have anything for Tom? All right, thank you.
Okay, take care, guys.
Yep. Anything else for us, Ben?
I don't have anything more.